Welcome to Discovering. It's the weekend of Michigan's youth deer hunt, and I'm joined by the Young Guns and the Gut and Drake team. And Dean Juntunen of Mass City completes his 100th hand cycle marathon.
Feeling really good, but I've already concluded I'm not going to be able to stop doing marathons.
So sit back and relax. It's Monday night, and it's time for
Discovering!
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
When you think of deer camp, thoughts of camo and flannel-clad men sitting around a table inside a one-room shack, playing cards and reminiscing about the big bucks they shot, come to mind. This isn't quite the same deer camp. I was invited out to Youth Deer Camp 2022 at the Shack, a group of family and friends who have had a deer camp for kids during the Michigan Liberty Hunt for 10 years. This kids' deer camp was started by the legend Uncle Kurt. How long you been coming to deer camp here?
Since I was like a year old.
Who do you come here with?
My dad and my brother.
Oh, yeah, tell me who's all at the youth camp here.
Well, I have I have a couple uncles, Mr. Lukey Dookie, Travis, and my grandpa, and then a bunch of other kids.
Don't be fooled by the video games. These are serious hunters. Who's gonna shoot a buck tomorrow? You are? You're gonna shoot a buck tomorrow? At this shack were 8 adults and 11 kids. 7 kids, ages 7 to 12, were the young guns, the hunters of the group. And the 4 littles and the adults were the Gut and Drake team. Nice. Are you gonna help haul the deer out?
I
The night before the big hunt, the crew gathered to cook up a big fish fry and make plans for the big weekend.
Perch and bluegills, maybe a little bit of walleye in there.
Amos? Bob? Hey.
Who took a bite of my chicken? Did you eat it?
I didn't do it.
Did you eat it?
Wasn't me.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, I did. This year's Michigan Liberty Hunt was the weekend of September 10th and 11th. During this hunt, youth 16 years old or younger and eligible hunters with disabilities may participate. In this crew, each young gun was accompanied by an adult on Saturday morning. I was going to sit with 7-year-old Jackson and his dad. This is Jackson's first year hunting. His brother Everett, who I filmed 2 years ago shooting his first deer, was hunting with his mom. Jackson was all smiles as we hiked back to the deer blind. Meanwhile, 8-year-old young gun Aaliyah hiked out to her hunting blind for her very first deer hunt too, along with her dad and cameraman.
So we started walking to my dad's stand, and then my dad flashed his light down by the bait, and there was a doe. So then I went in the blind, and he scared him off. And then it was so foggy down at the bait, we couldn't tell if there was a deer or not. And then it got daylight, and we saw that it was a doe, and I wanted to shoot it. Right as he was about to say the okay, he ran away, so I couldn't shoot. And then I waited.
It was a quiet morning. We waited for another deer to step out, and we waited for messages to come in from other hunters.
And then he got a text that Henry got one.
It was still quiet outside our blind, but the hunt was on over in Aaliyah's neck of the woods.
Just squeeze the trigger when you're ready.
We went there in the morning and we sat there for like 3 hours, maybe 4. And then I wasn't being patient, and Dad said just be patient, and just patience, like the deer come in if you're patient. And I did, and I saw a deer and he didn't believe me because I saw a whole bunch during those 3 or 4 hours, and they weren't deer, but they were all like birds and stuff. So when I was being patient, I saw skin, and it was like a grayish color, and I saw that. It came in, there was a deer, and I was like freaking out. I was shaking so bad. And then I saw 2 more, and they walked out of like where the bait pile was. They walked out of that, and then they came to the bait pile, and I had a good aim, and I shot it.
Nice shot. You got it.
Did I get him?
I think so. Shh.
Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out.
Good job. I think you got her.
Okay, let's go check.
Hold on.
Okay.
What was it?
I don't know.
Was it a big doe?
Yes.
I think you put a good shot on her.
Okay, I'm literally dying right now. Okay, I got myself.
I'm proud of you.
My legs are shaking so hard.
Should we call Mom?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Hello? I shot it.
Oh, you shot a deer?
Yeah, big doe.
Oh my gosh, yay! That's so exciting.
Okay, I gotta go because I need to find it.
We called it a morning at Jackson's blind and took off to go help track Aaliyah's deer.
Whole ton of blood. Told you. I got a 2. Right here, Aaliyah. I see it. Found it. Where is it? She perfect it.
All right, now we gotta tag it.
Tag it.
Tag it.
Aaliyah's dad showed her how to properly tag her deer,
You put the 1 and then a 0.
and then the gut and drag team went to work.
I think all of ours are going to meet pool.
Right away, it was encouraging to see how excited these kids got for one another. They were like a team, and one success was all of their success.
Henry, did you shoot a buck today?
Yes.
Tell me all about it.
We were gonna go. We were gonna get ready to go tonight, and then I looked out the window and I saw 2 deer, and I shot. I don't know.
You shot one of them.
Yeah.
How big were the deer?
I don't know. One was a spike and one was a 3-pointer.
Okay. How'd you decide which one to shoot?
But one was bullying the other one.
That evening, we went back out to Jackson's blind in hopes his 5-point would show up, but we didn't see a single deer. The two oldest hunters, Michaela and Blake, each had sleepy but successful hunts on the evening of the first day.
I went out there and I was really tired, so I was just gonna relax, but then I fell asleep on accident. Then I just woke up and Dave said, is there a deer out there? And I was like, oh, just one. I didn't really know what I was saying. And then I looked through the scope and I seen that there was horns on it, so he's like, are you gonna shoot it? And I was like, yeah. Or actually I said like, I don't know. And then he's like, I think it's good or something. And then I said, yeah, me too. And then I lined up on it and I shot it.
Well, my grandpa kept falling asleep in the deer stand, so I had to wake him up a bunch of times. But then finally, a deer went in between like two trees, but you could only see like the middle of the back, and it wasn't moving, so you couldn't tell it was a deer. So then finally he walked into the pile and I was like, oh yeah, that's a deer. And then my grandpa wanted to see if it like what it was on the camera, because on the camera video. But then he was just like, okay, have at her, and then I shot him.
What was it?
It was a spike.
Day 2. Jackson, his dad, and I were back out before sunrise. Not long after sunrise, we heard a shot fired from Jackson's brother Everett's direction, and Jax was done hunting.
We didn't see anything, but then Everett shot a spike, and I really wanted to go to it.
We're gonna hunt tonight, or what?
Yes.
Probably. Yeah, perfect shot. Good shot. And Everett was sleeping. So all of a sudden, I see him and I go push down on Everett. And he's trying to get up, and I won't let him get up because the deer's looking in the window. And so he's laughing and laughing.
And Grandpa kept going like this to me, and I was trying to see what was happening. And I went to go sit up, and he goes, shh, right there. And he goes, Everett, grab the gun. So I sneak over and grab the gun, and I'm like, it has to be a buck. So I stand up, and I see the horns, and I just get it on him. And I see the spike, and I just wham him.
Did you drop him right there?
Mm-hmm. Right here. Shot him right there. He took a step forward.
These kids weren't afraid to get their hands dirty. Everett jumped in to learn how to gut his deer.
And then we got it back and skinned it on the meat pole. And we stayed at the shack for the Packer game, but we didn't. We were on the Xbox, and my dad's like, let's go, Jax.
I wasn't able to sit that evening, but sent Jax's dad with a GoPro.
And so we walked in, there was nothing. We were all settled in, and then all of a sudden we hear a stick crack. So I get up, and we get the earmuffs on me, and then I look between these sticks and I see a deer standing. So then it came to the beat, we were waiting because it was kind of sideways, and we couldn't shoot it because it wasn't a good shot. Then another doe came in, but we didn't shoot that one. We were still on the first one. And then a little deer walked in. 2 minutes later, it turned broadside. I had the scope on her, and then I shot her.
That looked like a good hit, buddy. It looked like a good hit.
And how far did she go?
About 35 yards.
Was she easy to find?
Yeah, she crossed a creek.
Any blood, Jax?
No.
What about the other way? Look this way.
Found it.
Jax! Holy smokes!
Gee, that's a fat one.
It's a good size doe.
Now what are you going to do with it?
We're gonna clean it and then we're gonna eat it.
Do you like to eat venison?
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to eat it?
Stew.
When are you going to go deer hunting again?
Rifle season.
Awesome. Congratulations. Sad I missed it.
This was a great weekend for these kids to learn how to hunt, learn the right way, get outdoors, and spend quality time with family and friends. The Michigan Youth Hunt is all about creating tomorrow's hunters, who will hopefully someday be the old-timers carrying on the tradition and reminiscing around the deer camp table about their first deer hunt.
Go, team, go! Go! Catch 'em!
"100 marathons is quite an achievement." So when I found out that my friend Dean Juntunen of Mass City was about to complete his 100th marathon, I knew it was a story that had to be told. Dean's 99th marathon was in Gladstone back in June, and his 100th marathon in August, just across the border at the Paavo Nurmi in Hurley.
There's a lot of energy too at the beginning of a marathon. There's a real good energy at that start line, and then all through the race you're pretty much adrenalized, and then the finish line, of course, you get some more adrenaline. Feeling really good, but I've already concluded I'm not going to be able to stop doing marathons. I don't know if I have to push as hard, and I know I won't be doing as many. I had been doing 4 per year for a long time. I've been paralyzed since 1991, so it's been over 30 years. And shortly after I got paralyzed, I decided I'm going to start doing marathons, and I have a lifetime goal of 100. And today I achieved that goal. So the people here at the Paavo Nurmi Marathon actually gave me number 100. So I was pretty happy about that.
Dean has always been an outdoors enthusiast, and there are many ways to enjoy the outdoors, and pushing your body to the limits for 26.2 miles is one of them.
When I was able-bodied, I did a lot of hiking and climbing when I lived in Montana, and before, actually. Grew up in the UP and climbed all over the Porcupine Mountains and everywhere else. And I was actually thinking of getting into ultramarathons, and I was going to start doing those 100-mile runs up in the mountains and such. But then I got paralyzed instead, so I said, well, I'll have to find something else to do. So I guess I'll do marathons. That seems like a nice distance.
In 1991, Dean climbed up a tree to take down a rope swing, and one of the branches holding him broke.
Never trust a hemlock. Hemlock branch broke, and I fell about 30 feet, landed on my back, broke 5 vertebrae, and wrecked my spinal cord in 2 spots. Been a T7-8 complete paraplegic ever since, so I'm paralyzed from base of the sternum down, so I'm doing everything without any abdominal muscles, which makes it a little harder, but everything from there up works really well, so I do what I do. So my bike is a 3-wheeler. It's got 1 front tire, which is the drive wheel, and then 2 back tires, which are just coasting back there. I'm running high pressure tires, which are nice in that they roll well, but they're a little bit delicate. So altogether, I've had 6 flat tires in marathons. And the worst one was a couple of years ago at the Paavo. I actually got a flat front tire about 9 miles into it. So I didn't know if I was going to finish that marathon, but I was able to limp it through, and I completed the marathon, did 17 miles on a flat tire, flat front tire, which is the worst one. I've never not finished a marathon. So hopefully that will continue. When I was younger, I always wanted to beat my own personal best, but now that I'm 62 years old, my personal bests are behind me. I can't compete with my 40-year-old self. So mostly I just want to put in a good effort and not have any flat tires.
The thing about marathons is that the event goes on in just about any weather.
So the Paavo is usually hot, hilly, and humid, and today it was not hilly, or not hot or humid, but it was definitely hilly.
Most of Dean's 100 marathons have been local, the UP, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. He has also done the Boston 3 times and the New York City once.
I don't really have a favorite course. I've concluded that all marathons are my favorites, but things about the Paavo that are great are, I guess, the tradition and the fact that the guy who laid this course out was probably a masochist, which is kind of Paavo Nurmi-like. So in that sense, you know, being a Finn myself, I have to like that. The Paavo was my first marathon in 1993, and I just thought it would be nice to make it my 100th as well. I've also done more Paavo Nurmi marathons than any other.
Dean finishes his marathons in an average of 2 hours. During the Pavo, there was a bicycle tour group that started ahead of the race, so Dean did have some company along the course this year, along with 2 other hand cyclists.
I don't have any more goals. I think I'm gonna keep going as long as I can. So there's a gentleman here today who used to run marathons. He ran about 40 of them, and he's 82 years old now, and he's doing marathons on a hand cycle because he had major knee surgery and his knee won't allow him to run anymore. So he's kind of my idol, I guess. I'm gonna see if I can still be doing marathons when I'm 82 years old.
A word we hear a lot here in the UP is Sisu, a Finnish concept described through a combination of English terms including inner determination, persistence, grit, bravery, resilience, and hardiness. An action mindset enabling individuals to reach beyond perceived capabilities and take action against all odds. Dean embodies all of that. That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.